are powerful not because of our own abilities. Man is not the fastest. A cheetah is far faster. Man is not the strongest. A bull or an elephant is far stronger. And man is not the most fearless. A lion is really far more fearless than man. And yet, because we can exist and correlate as a human race, and we can share, and we can coexist peacefully, humanity has come to a place and a situation to where we are, where we have grown and progressed in leaps and bounds. So there is something in harmony. And that's what I wanted to explore today. UAE, an exemplar of harmony and peace. And why would I say that? Because almost every genuine religion, every culture that has coexisted with other cultures for hundreds and hundreds of years, and almost every country talks about the value of harmony and peace. But while we value and while we highlight, there is a different emphasis about the same value in the UAE.
Well, Swamiji is talking about exactly how UAE and India are the exemplars of peace. And as exemplars of peace, from homes to classrooms to policy, the UAE has built a framework that doesn't just tolerate diversity, but it in fact thrives on it. Promotion of inclusive lawmaking, youth and its engagement in acts of tolerance, educational reforms and global sharings of the UAE model. That's the right foot forward when we're talking about UAE and India being these exemplars of peace. There are 5 pillars of the UAE's tolerance program on your screens as well. Listen in to what Swamiji has to say about UAE's tolerance model.
As a Hindu, and for every Hindu, is common knowledge that we have grown with unity in diversity. We have grown upon the ancient Vedic values of Yatra Bhavati Vishwam Ekanidam, where the whole world is one nest. Ano Bhadraha Kratavo Yantu Vishwataha. Let noble thoughts come to us from every side. And Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole world is one family. Ideals are something that we share and we propagate amongst ourselves individually. But find me one country on the face of this planet which has taken tolerance and harmony and coexistence so seriously that it has not just created conferences and events and meets on harmony and tolerance, it has actually created a ministry of tolerance to make sure that tolerance and harmony is given importance in every facet of life. Till now, people always told us as we progress in life that to set up a business or for any trade or business, financial capital is very important. Of course it is. But even if you had all the finances, if you didn't have the perfect manpower to fulfill the industry that you have dreamt of, finances alone cannot achieve everything. So human capital perhaps is equally important as financial capital. But even if you had the best of the best from high-class management institutes and technological institutes, managers and engineers, despite having a high level of human capital, if there was no harmony capital, you won't be able to do anything. So finances are important. Intelligence is important. But our ability to coexist and to work together, to progress together, is perhaps more important than the previous two. And that is what UAE has been able to establish by bringing in more than 200 nationalities, people of different faiths, different cultures, different countries, and creating an environment where everybody works together with equality and dignity to actually bring the values of humanity forward.
You know what? The pictures speak for themselves. Tolerance isn't new to this region. And for decades, the Emirates have offered space to temples, to churches and gurudwaras. And now a mandir that echoes history and harmony together. Built using 20,000 tons of hand-carved stone, 7 spires representing the 7 Emirates. No steel or concrete that has been used, just pure tradition and pure trust.
Many people have asked me as I travel the world, that is harmony and tolerance in UAE just a facade, just a word, just an ideology? Well, I am perhaps the proof that harmony and tolerance in UAE is not just skin deep, it is perhaps the very soul. The founding father, His Highness Sheikh Zayed, often said that tolerance is not just beauty, tolerance is our duty. And all the 7 founding fathers of the UAE, of all the 7 Emirates, have continued and nourished this ideology. I personally have experienced this feeling of harmony, not just in the palaces of Abu Dhabi, and not just in the offices of the leaders, but also in the streets and in the simplest tasks that we've had to do. Many people have told me that harmony and coexistence is just a dream. Well, I ask you, what's wrong in dreaming this dream? So was landing on the moon once just a dream, but because we held on to that dream, we did land on the moon. So is colonizing Mars just a dream, but if we hold on to that dream, we will progress, technology will grow, science will flourish, and humans will colonize Mars. So if we continue with the dream of harmony, of course, like all great dreams, we will mature, just as science has matured. In science, nobody asks who invented the vaccine. Was he a Christian, a Hindu, or a Muslim? As long as the vaccine works for me, we take the medicine without the differences. We have also matured in trade. Who trades with us? We don't ask. As long as it creates a better environment, we actually welcome that. Similarly, in values, we should not ask from which religion it comes from. If it's compassion, if it's love, if it's tolerance, if it's peace, if it's faith, if it's hard work, if it's sincerity, if it's truth, that may it come from any corner, any culture, any country, welcome them, just as the Hindus always say, Ano Badraha Kratavo Yantu Vishwataha. Let noble thoughts come to us from every side.
Well, sometimes a symbol says it all. 2 plants, one from India, the other one from the UAE, now growing together at the heart of the BAPS Hindu Mandir in Abu Dhabi. Let's hear this impeccable story behind this gentle metaphor.
I remember in the year 2018 when I went to Kasar al-Watan, and in the presence of India's most beloved Prime Minister, Sheikh Narendra Modi, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, then the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, and in front of almost 2,000 important dignitaries in the palace, when I presented two plans to His Highness. One was a conventional, normal, contemporary building within which we were willing to do our daily worship for the Hindus. And the other plan was a traditional stone temple, hand-carved, full of filigree and design and figures. And when I asked His Highness that which type of a Hindu temple should we do, and just imagine his answer. He said, if it's a temple, it should look like a temple. With that generosity, he told me that I will come, my children will come, and my grandchildren will come. What more do you want than such a welcome from the heart of the ruler? And I've experienced that same love with His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, when more than many times, even during COVID, he continued to encourage us and often told me that we are more than brothers. His Excellency Sheikh Nahyan Mubarak Al Nahyan, well, you just need to look into his eyes to understand the deeper meaning of tolerance, love, and harmony. How many times he has personally visited the temple and encouraged us at every stage, whether it was Diwali or whether it was placing the first brick or whether it was an event for the inauguration. But every officer, every person in the street carries the same feeling of harmony and love.
The construction, the stone walls, the carvings tell stories not just from India but from across the world. Temple carvings feature 14 stories from global civilizations, a visual celebration, if one could say, of common truths across different cultures. And in a divided time, this is a quiet but powerful chorus for coexistence.
BAPS Hindu Mandir in Abu Dhabi, which was actually envisioned by His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj in 1997 in the sands of Sharjah with absolutely no one around. When he prayed that may there be a temple in Abu Dhabi and may it bring countries, cultures and religions closer together, at that moment we just laughed. Would it be possible? Could it be possible? And it was never in the wildest of our dreams that times will change, understandings will change, and a climate of such harmony will be generated that will become a model for the rest of the world. Not only just the temple, the way it was made. People from all communities, all cultures, all countries came together. Imagine a Muslim king donating land to a Hindu temple where our lead architect of the complex is a Christian Catholic, where our project manager is a Sikh, where our foundation designer is a Buddhist, where our construction company is Zoroastrian Parsis, where our chairman comes from a Jain tradition and our chief consultant was a man of no religion. This is the BAPS Hindu Mandir. Itself is the proof that cultures can coexist. Itself is the proof that religions can coexist and value one another. And I wanted to say that this is perhaps the signal to the rest of the world. UAE is not just a place where trade flourishes, not just a place where dreams flourish. It's not just a place where we can think together and invent together. It is a place where culture is shared, where we can create values that redefine humanity. I want to emphasize that while we keep searching for similarities, it has taught us we can preserve our dissimilarities and yet love one another. In a family, tell me, what is similar? The ages are different. The father, the grandfather, the child, the grandchild, all ages are different. Every face is different. All the dreams of everybody in one single family are different. Destinies are different. I want to say the likes and dislikes of every individual in a family are different. And yet, we can exist like a family because we have decided that we are a family. Similarly, if we decide that we are a single human family, we can actually grow beyond the differences and learn to appreciate them. A time has come where we should not just celebrate the similarities, but we should celebrate our dissimilarities. What is similar between a man and a dog? Nothing. One walks on two, the other on four. One barks, the other talks. By the way, there is nothing similar. Even the species, even the genetics are different. And yet a man loves a dog and a dog loves his master. Love has the power to rise beyond every difference that we can imagine. And this is the climate of love that generates harmony and peace. I would like to emphasize one fact, that at this time, as sane and thinking human beings, we just have two choices. Either to flourish together or either to perish forever. We can only flourish together if we choose harmony, and we'll perish forever if we choose disharmony. The choice is ours. The writing on the wall is clear. May God help us all to pursue and continue this dream.
But what has driven and risen in the Abu Dhabi desert is not just a place of worship. It's a spiritual bridge between countries, communities, and convictions. The BAPS Hindu Mandir is not just built with stone, it's built with shared dreams, a gifted land, patient hands, and global intent. It reminds us that from policy to prayer, harmony is not a hope, it is a habit. This is more than India in the UAE. This is humanity together.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9, English news as it should be.
Rahul, talk to us, in terms of marketing. Some of the best marketing campaigns that you've worked on, at SAP India, you thought hit the nail on the head.
Well, I'll probably talk about a couple that I'm really proud of. One was something called the Transformation Express, again targeted at the mid-market, which was essentially a traveling showcase which housed a lot of our technologies meant for the mid-sized businesses. And that showcase essentially traveled to 13 different cities over a course of about 45 or 50 days. And we collaborated with several industry associations in different cities. So while at the core of the campaign was this physical bus, but it was a truly integrated campaign. It allowed us to touch more than 7,500 odd businesses with our messaging over the course of those 45 days. And again, more importantly, it led to significant pipeline creation as well. I thought that was, and coming at the back of COVID, I think it received overwhelming response as well from the marketplace. So that's one that I'm really proud of. Another was a film that we created for our Silver Jubilee in India, which was, I think, about 4 years back. And that film was essentially, typically corporate films are really about, what we have achieved in the last 25 years of our existence in a specific market. But we decided to tell the story from the point of view of our customers, okay? And we looked at 10 different sectors in India which had truly gone through some major transformation in the last 2.5 decades. We looked at aviation, for example, where the data point that we have is more than 100 airports use SAP software to manage their business.
Nice.
But that's the hard data point. But the story that was being told was the guy who was traveling for the first time on an airplane and how we were there when that happened. And similarly, it talked about automotive, for example. So 8 out of 10 cars that you see on the road are made by our customers.
Okay.
That's the hard data point. But the story again was told from the point of view of the guy who was moving from a scooter to a car for the very first time.
Who am I?
Nobody can crack that mystery.
There is a certain expectation of me.
That's the only contradiction.
Life itself is stranger than fiction.
I was a perfectly normal person born in an abnormal world.
I really didn't understand why is it different.
Just imagine a child who is bullied every day.
Boys स्कूल में कुछ लड़का लोग मेरे साथ sexual abuse किए.
मुझे तेरे बारे में सब पता है और मैं तेरा रेप कर लूँगा.
You also start to stigmatize.
अरे ये तो टाइम पास है.
Sex doesn't come in the picture, sex comes very late. Then there are man-made narratives.
Why do you walk like that? Why do you sway so much? So you can understand the trauma of a person who's trapped in a wrong body.
But nothing can bind life.